Hi, this is Jay Billis of ESPN, and you're listening to the ML Sports Platter.
The ML Sports Platter is back with you. We are presented by Bryant and Stratton College, the official title sponsor and college of the ML Sports Platter. Make sure that you do indeed go to bryantstratton.edu and check out all of their tremendous 2-year and 4-year degree options. Also, you can fill out a 9-question survey and they can help better place you in terms of what you're concentrating on to take the next step in life. Bryant and Stratton College, in fact, is for every and in life. Log on to bryantstratton.edu. And hey, for the Bobcats athletic full-page schedules, go ahead and log on to bscbobcats.com. Men's and women's soccer right around the corner, and women's basketball debuting this year as well. We are also brought to you by Hides of Liverpool and Ken's Auto Detailing. Well, speaking of the aforementioned Bryant and Stratton College Bobcats, we bring in our weekly guest, Danny Frisina. July was a little busy throughout the weeks here, but after the holiday and a couple of vacation times and in and out of town for both of us, we bring Danny Frisina back in. He is the head men's basketball coach of the Bobcats of Bryant and Stratton College, Syracuse. Danny, welcome back, pal.
Yeah, good. Just coming off a weekend. My best buddies there got married, so it's nice celebrating with him and catching up with some friends, but we're back at it and starting off the week strong. It's beautiful outside, so yeah, it's been a while, but things are looking up.
Yeah, speaking of, give my listeners the latest and greatest in Bobcat world.
So, yeah, I mean, we've added a couple more guys to our roster as far as recruits go, bringing them in. And like I said, kind of at the end of all these interviews is you can check that out on Instagram, Twitter. We try to put it out as much as possible. But not just me, also soccer and our women's basketball team have been going to work too and getting kids enrolled. And so, yeah, we're building it up, and we're really excited about how the way the summer has been shaping up. And, we're looking to continue to add, and there should be a couple more announcements coming down the pike here for at least men's basketball coming up here shortly. So we're really excited about it. And I don't want to announce anything just yet, but we got a couple guys that we're really excited about coming on board, and so stay tuned.
Danny, how important do you think at your level chemistry is? Is it underrated or overrated?
It's tough to say. I think it sometimes can be underrated. I mean, chemistry it's kind of the glue. I mean, if you could have all the talent in the world, but if you have 5 guys that are on different pages, their talent doesn't mean much. So, I mean, getting these guys, and it's tough for us. We're limited so much in the off season is what we can do with these guys. A lot of them are kind of working out on their own, and it's not until they come back on campus and we start our preseason workouts that we really start getting that chemistry built early on. And then we'll focus on some of the more finer details, as the season approaches. But yeah, I mean, the chemistry thing it's huge for our guys, and I think going into this season, it'll benefit us because we're bringing back the majority of our roster, and so they'll have a year of playing together underneath their belt, and then we add in a couple new pieces with the guys that the freshmen and some of the transfers that we have coming in. We just add them to the team, and we try to mesh them in as well, and all our expectations and stuff like that. But yeah, getting these guys on the court and having them play together as much as possible, and seeing what each guy does well, that's very important. So I'd say out of the two, it'd probably be underrated. I think it's one of the more important skills that these guys can have together on the court is knowing which guys do what together and where to get the ball to them in the areas where they can succeed.
All right, so I don't know if you saw this, but as we record this yesterday in Kansas City, Trevor Bauer of the Indians got really pissed off, apparently at himself. He said after the game he apologized big time and was saying that he was frustrated with himself, not at the manager, not at anything else. It was simply a heat of the moment thing, and he got mad at himself, and he turned and he heaved the ball over the center field wall. I happen to think it's hilarious. I know in our world today that people get nuts about this stuff. It was a perfect Twitter moment, of course.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But let's fast forward and say that like that happened to your player did something like that. How would you handle that on the court?
I mean, it's
because he'd probably get a technical first of all.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. That would be punishment enough. If it happened if we're doing the equivalent, say a kid like drop kick the basketball and hit the rafters or something like that. He'd be sitting down for at least the rest of the game for me. And we'd reevaluate kind of what led up to that, what the issue was, and figure out if there needed to be further disciplinary action. I mean, that stuff, I understand the heat of the moment, but you kind of gotta kind of just let the cooler head prevail here. And I understand, and baseball's a little bit different because there's 162 games, and we're in the dog days here, and frustration builds up, and he didn't do anything that was going to penalize his team, and he didn't hurt anybody, so that instance is a little bit different. But like you said, if this were to happen on the basketball court, you'd probably get teed up, and the other team would get a chance at a couple shots, and that's something that hurts our team. So it's a selfish move for the basketball side, and you try to make it so that those things don't happen. As a coach, you have to set an example and make sure that you don't allow that to happen again, not only for him, but set an example for the rest of the team as well, that stuff like that won't be acceptable in games or in practice. And you got to be able to, like I said before, keep a cool head and not let the frustration get the best of you.
Danny Frisina is with us, of course, head men's basketball coach of the Bobcats in Central New York. And, of course, you can hit up the schedule and information at bscbobcats.com, and, of course, bryantstratton.edu, Bryant Stratton College, the official college and title sponsor of the ML Sports Platter. For those who don't know, the league that you guys play in, get into that a little bit more and just how, at least from my vantage point last year, it seems like every week it becomes more and more competitive. I would assume that would be the case season to season as well. But how about this league that you guys are in, Danny? It never, ever, ever disappoints in terms of complete and utter competitiveness.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you bringing it up because there's just not a lot of people that know about the USCAA. And I encourage anybody that's, whether your son or daughter is competing on that level or not, it's one of the main points that I come across when I'm talking to parents, coaches, athletic directors, and players is the USCAA. They just don't. They know about the NJCAA and they know about the NCAA, of course, and even the NAIA to a certain extent. And the USCAA kind of flows there under the radar, and it's a national organization. There's teams from all over the country that compete in it, and it just allows smaller institutions, colleges, and universities to compete against each other on a fairly even playing field. And there's Division I and Division II. I'm speaking on the basketball side for basketball, and we're a Division I program in the USCA, which means that we have scholarship money that we can offer our students. It's not a huge advantage, I would say. There's Division II teams that we compete against that we've beat and that we've lost to, and we'll be playing against some of those teams again this year. There's talent across the board, and it's a really good avenue. I mean, like I said, the only real difference between us and some of these other schools is our total enrollment. Other than that, we play by the NCAA Division III rules. So not this year, but next year we'll be moving our 3-point line back as well. Okay. And they're roughly the same transfer rules and the amount, like I mentioned before, the amount of practices that we can do. So it stays pretty streamlined for the most part with common rules of the other leagues. But what's really the other thing is so the Division I level of the USCA really only has 22 to 25 teams, and the postseason consists of the top 8. So it's a really competitive league that we're in, and there's really only 8 spots when we're talking about the end of the year if you want to compete for nationals. So there's teams in there that we beat that were in the playoffs last year, and we're looking to compete again this year and see if we can be in the top 8 at the end of the year. But like I said, between Division I, Division II, and the USCA, we're really happy where we're at being in the USCA, and I think that we'll have a team that can compete and hopefully finished in the top 8. But yeah, theuscaa.com is the website, and I encourage anybody that's interested in our school or checking out what schools that we compete against to really look at it, because there's teams from Florida, Texas, and obviously New York, Virginia, Ohio. I mean, they're all over the place in the Midwest as well. And it's really nice to see at the end of the year. I traveled down to the national tournament. You see these teams that travel from all over the country. Oakwood University from Alabama ended up winning the Division I national championship last year. So it's a really diverse league, and we're happy and proud to be part of it.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I mean, with women's basketball coming up, and then the seasons that some of the clubs had last year, the men's soccer team was undefeated, I think, during the regular season until the postseason. And there's so much success and so many more people turning their heads to Bryant and Stratton College. I just look at, from the academic standpoint and then the athletics way we talk about, these rosters are really starting to come together, and the rewards are at the end, Danny. It's kind of like everything else. You put the work in, you get the reps, you practice, it equals perfection. And by the end of the season, you really see, in your squad too, I mean, you had a lot of close games last year that could, one bounce here, one bounce there, could have been 4 or 5 more wins. I think everybody is seeing, the results, right, at Bryant that kind of start from the beginning of the year and the off season and kind of hitting the ground running. You see it at the end of the season. You're seeing the results, the end work here.
Absolutely. And I talked to my guys individually after the season and told them how impressed I was with their commitment and dedication, not only to athletics and the basketball team, but their commitment to the school. They stayed. We had all our guys eligible for the second semester. They did what they needed to do in the classroom to make sure that they could compete on the court. But you're right. The progress that they made from our first practice to our last game was incredible. And like I said, most of our team last year were freshmen or first-year players that had never played college basketball before. And for a first-year program, first-year head coach, and these young guys to really grow over a short amount of time, it was really exciting to see. And you hit the nail on the head with our other programs. I'm really excited about seeing where our women's program is going to go. Clay Sherman is doing a great job recruiting, and I expect them to be competitive from the get with some of the talent that he's corralling. Of course, our men's and women's soccer teams are going to be competing again at another high level. I expect them to be, in the Final Four at least, make another run towards the USCA Final Four and compete for national championships like they have the last handful of years. So it's a really exciting time here at Bryant and Stratton, and we've just added a new cross country coach, and he's bringing a rejuvenation to that program and added excitement. So the athletic department here at Bryant and Stratton is continuing to grow and get exciting, and we really are bringing in quality kids and students and young men and women that really want to compete at the highest level. And it gets us coaches really excited to see their excitement and their readiness to get after it.
Danny, in closing, I know you love I know you love some Woj bombs, and I've got the lead NBA insider and reporter in the country. I mean, I don't think it's even a discussion. Adrian Wojnarowski,
he's awesome,
from ESPN, and of course a great St. Bonaventure man as well, is jumping on the pod here in about 40 minutes. So this is a heck of a doubleheader here, man. You and Woj on a Monday to kick off the week, man. So thanks for doing this.
Well, I appreciate it. To be on the same bill as he, it's great news, man. It's congratulations to you. It's just it's proof that what you're doing is on your platform is working, and just happy to be a part of it. And getting Woj and Linda Cohn and some of these bigwigs at the mothership is huge for you, huge for me. It's a great time to be a part of the platter here, and I'm looking forward to hearing what Woj has to say. Hopefully he has some magic up his sleeve for my Knicks here. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing that interview as well.
The ML Sports Platter is brought to you by Brian Comboy of Mass Mutual New York State. Make sure you log on to the Mass Mutual website and check them out on Facebook and get your tax-efficient retirement planning in order today with Brian Comboy. Big time thanks to Bryant and Stratton College, the official college and title sponsor of the ML Sports Platter, and that was Danny Frisina, the head men's Bobcats basketball coach in the Central New York area. Hit me on Twitter at Mike L Sports, and of course, you can download and subscribe to the podcast via Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, the Podbean app, and accessible as well on YouTube and Tumblr. As I always tell you, enjoy the games.